Hey everybody, Shorty here. I guess y'all can see me. It looks like I'm completely sideways here. I don't understand what's going on, but all right. I think it's just the angle of my camera here. I just did this quick pop up. If y'all come and join in, be happy for me. I'll be happy. I'm doing a quick pop up live stream. Uh, I haven't been on very much lately. I've been healing from surgery and sickness. Now I got everything all healed up. Now I'm having another surgery. It's going to be on the other leg, the exact same surgery. I'm just hoping it'd go a little better this time. The last one, it took me a long time to heal. The surgery went great, but the healing part was really slow going. I have something called Achilles fasciitis and plantar fasciitis, which most people have heard of the Achilles or the plantar fasciitis, but not the Achilles fasciitis part. Um, the Achilles fasciitis is just essentially my Achilles tendon has been shrinking and it pulls on my heel real hard. Then my plantar fasciitis, when it's pulling like that, it's aggravating my plantar fasciitis where I can't get rid of it. And so they have to go in, they have to cut my Achilles tendon and actually splice on a piece. Then they have to go down to my foot and do the regular plantar fasciitis surgery, which I don't know if anybody y'all ever done that before. I'm not interested in that. I saw it and I wasn't too happy about it. Or I saw how they did it. And I'm trying to get here where I can get you all on here. If somebody wants to join in with me. That didn't work. Give me a second here, people. All right, let's see here. Where's that cut thing at? Refresh print. I don't think I'm doing this right. I really need to start playing on this computer a little bit more. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get more people on here. I haven't figured out how to get that, but I haven't got nobody jump on here yet. I know it's just a surprise pop-up. It's 5 o'clock our time, so it's no telling what time it is for you guys anywhere else. I believe I'm live. I'm gonna jump on my phone here. I'm gonna turn it all the way down and see if I'm actually live. I think I am. It says I am anyway. Where is that? But yep, it says I'm live. All right. Cool. That's what I need to see. Wow, my eye looks messed up for some reason. Wonder what's going on with it. Oh well. So what's y'all been up to? Teresa, she's in there working like usual. That's all we get to do around here is we're in a store 6 days a week from generally 11 o'clock in the evening or 11 o'clock till 7 o'clock at night. But now that I'm having a surgery, I won't be here for a couple months. So Teresa will be here, but she'll actually get a day off, which is a good thing. She won't, because when I'm working here, she doesn't get to she doesn't get her Sunday off because she's always in here with me, helping me out. And so she doesn't really get time off, which is a bad thing because she only gets one day then. And I'd really like her to have more than one day. Wow, there's cars all over the place around here. I said hi to myself. Woohoo! I got one person on. So how's everybody been doing? If you ain't on here, you can comment later. And I'll read it. I read every one of my comments. And again, I don't know if most people know this or not. If you subscribe to my channel, I always subscribe to yours. It's just repaying the favor, you know. If you're willing to subscribe to mine, I'll subscribe to yours too. I ain't sure about this StreamYard stuff, though. I might end up going back to the normal, just live. It looks like I got another person on there. Whoever's on there, say hi. I can't see who you are. It just tells me there's one person on here looking. But yeah, we're in here all the time. It's not no fun. When I have the surgery, she'll actually get 2 days off, hopefully in a row, which will be nice. But I'm doing actually videos on my surgery, from going and having to get my COVID test done, which I'm negative for COVID. I'm not worried about that crap. And tomorrow when I get into the hospital, hello Donna Phoenix, how you doing? Glad you jumped on here. This was just a pop-up live about me having surgery and just catching up. I haven't been on here very much lately. I put a video up every now and then. I'm nowhere near like on a schedule. The way my health goes and the way we got to work in here, it's really hard. It's hard to do videos and stuff. I mean, I record like crazy, but half the stuff I record doesn't end up in a video. Either the quality's bad or the way I record is bad, or just the problems of being a YouTuber. But yeah, I'm doing that. I'm going to be doing videos of. I'm having my Achilles tendon. I have Donna asked, what am I having done? I have Achilles fasciitis and plantar fasciitis I had it in both legs. I had the left leg done. Now I'm having my right leg done, and it's the same surgery for both. They got to cut my Achilles tendon, put a chunk in it, and then they got to go into my plantar fasciitis and cut that out, which cutting a tendon sounds like the worst part, which it does hurt. But when they dig through your heel to cut that plantar fasciitis, that does hurt. You had shoulder surgery 2 weeks ago. Oh, I hope you're healing up fine. I haven't had that one done. I don't like getting cut on if I don't have to be cut on. Got a burp. Just ate lunch with my wife. Like I said earlier, we're here 6 days a week. If I'm not working, she is. Now that I'm having the surgery, I'm not going to be working any. But she's still going to be working her 5 days, so at least she gets 2 days off. Your grandson had his Achilles lengthened twice. I feel sorry for him. It hurts. I got a big old scar on my left leg, and imagine I'm going to have the same thing on my right leg. I don't know. I never had problems with it when I was younger. It's going to be a cliche. I worked for Amazon work camping. I worked at a sawmill for years as a supervisor, cutting logs, jumping around, running all kind of machinery. I never once had problems. He's 15, has cerebral palsy. I'm sorry. Well, he's 15. He's already had 2 feet surgeries. Ugh. Does the cerebral palsy, that's what's causing his tendons to shrink, or are they just trying to loosen them up? Because mine shrunk. They said mine actually shrunk, and it was putting too much pressure on my heel. And that's what was causing my plantar fasciitis. So they had to cut and lengthen the Achilles tendon. Then that's supposed to, and they cut the plantar fasciitis out, and that's supposed to relieve the pressure. It hasn't yet. My left leg still hurts some. Yeah, they're too tight. Yeah. And the doctor I'm going to, she's been doing this for 9 years. So she's been doing it a long time. I'm not really impressed with her stitching ability, because when she put the stitches on the side of my leg, 2 of them popped open, and it wasn't until like 3 weeks ago it actually healed up. And I had my surgery in November. Well, the day before Thanksgiving, that's when I had my first surgery, and the scab just fell off like 3 weeks ago, maybe beginning part of February. That just caused one of the stitches busted open. Then it would never heal. I'm having it done at Schnick Medical Center in Seymour, Indiana. The I ain't gonna say the doctor's name. She's a nice lady. She's trying really hard. That's all I can say. She's trying really hard to make me feel better. But like I was saying earlier, I was working at a sawmill and never had no problems. Never had problems with my feet. I had to wear steel-toed boots. I ran around that place like my head was cut off until I had a heart attack there due to stress and all kinds of stuff. Oh, Donna used to work at Seymour, so you know exactly where I'm talking about. But I had all kinds of I had a I had a bad heart to begin with, but stress induced heart attack. It was a pretty major heart attack, but in the process of doing that, it caused a restriction from my heart to my lungs. So my lungs doesn't get enough blood to them. That's why I can't smoke or strong smells kind of hurts me because my lungs ain't getting enough blood. Even though my lungs are getting enough air in them, my heart's pumping enough blood. It's just not getting to where it needs. That's my major problems. But we were work camping for a couple years, and we got another one on here. Hello. We were working for a couple years at work camping. We worked for Amazon, which that's oh, there we go. If I can figure out how to do something here, I'll do something. Okay. Thank you, Donna. I blocked them. I wish I knew how to make moderators. I'm going to see if I can make it. I haven't figured this computer out yet. But I blocked that one you said was a troll. You reported them. Thank you. Yeah, we worked for a couple years for Amazon. We did a sugar beets. I was fine with sugar beets. Then we worked for a couple years at Amazon. My feet really started hurting when I was working for Amazon, which it's Amazon. We did returns a lot, but my feet kept on hurting. And when we came back 3 years, we haven't been work camping for 3 years. When I came back from work camping, I went straight into another job, and I didn't really give my feet time to heal that they needed. So I just kept on, and they just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I work at a smoke shop right now, and it's the lowest impact job I can think I could ever have. And I can't stand up a full shift. My feet hurt so bad. Oh, let's see here. Private chat, man, community. I'm still trying to figure this thing out, Donna. I'm not good with computers. I'd like to see if I can pull you up on this live stream so you can join in here with me, but I haven't figured out how to that, and I'm sitting in my van, so my computer is above me. You can only make mods on okay. That's why I can't make a mod on here. Okay. And I'm on the StreamYard. And right now I'm trying to. There we go. Cut. Let me see if I can bring her down here and see if this gets it here. Where's that paste at? That's not the right thing. Print, save, refresh. Paste. There. See if that'll get it. That might get it. I'm still trying this computer thing out. I went to school and I had the highest tech thing I had when in school was a calculator. I had pencil, I had paper, and I had books. I didn't have laptops and computers. And by the time I was getting out of school, they had something called what was it called? Um, Oregon Trail. So yeah, I mean, I'm still learning this. Marshall, he uh, he actually volunteered to train me on the computer. I just haven't had a chance to get a hold of him yet and see about doing it. He said he'd show me the ins and outs of how to do live streams and editing and everything else like that. Because when I do my editing, uh, I just do the plain editing. It came with the computer. I mean, I haven't bought no special programs or nothing like that. Always gotta have my Pepsi. That's the one vice I have left. uh, you were married and had your daughter before the first computers came out. Well, computers came out. I was already born when the computers came out because we had one of the old Radio Shack. They had what they call a Tandy computer. I was a teenager. Mom and Dad, they bought me and my brothers a Tandy computer, and you had to type on that thing forever to make a stick scroll across the screen. That was my extent. That's what kind of threw me off of computers because I wasn't going to sit there and type for 4 or 5 hours, and if you messed one thing up, you had to go back and figure out what you messed up to make a stick dance across the screen. That's what it was called. And I couldn't do it. Then when my kids got into schools, all my kids are out of school now. Shoot, I got 2 grandkids that's starting school. When my kids were in school, they started with the computers. My youngest one, he was asking me about how to do something on a computer. I'm like, buddy, you're asking the wrong feller. I said, I don't know. I said, you got to go get your brother. My youngest one, his older brother and sister had to teach him on a computer because I had no idea because they wasn't doing virtual learning then, but they were doing after school classes on computers if you wanted it. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know nothing about it. Oh, is that something on my computer? I see something weird. Oh, it's a tag. Okay. I thought it was something on the screen. Wow, this place is busy. My wife's having fun in there. It sounds bad, but I'm glad I'm not working today. I had to work the last 4 days. I'm only usually working 2 days a week. But this time I had to work Friday. One of the gentlemen that works here, he wasn't feeling good, so he called in Friday. So I had to come in Friday and work for him. Then my days were Saturday and Sundays, so I worked Saturday and Sunday. Then where I'm going to be off work, they changed the schedule around, and I had to work yesterday. You remember when Pong was high tech? Yes, I do actually remember that game because I had it on Atari 2600. We used to love playing Atari 2600. We had that, then we went straight into the Nintendo. My dad said there wasn't nothing good in between them, so he didn't buy another one. So, yeah, we had that Atari until the joysticks would always break on it. And after, they stopped selling them, it wasn't too much long after that they came out with the Nintendo. And I think my dad played my Nintendo more than I did. He loved playing Mario. He would sit in my room for hours on end playing my Nintendo. I'm like, Dad, can I play? He goes, in a minute. And he wouldn't let me play very much. But he loved playing Mario. And I was one of the kids, I liked playing too, but most of the time I was outside either riding a go-kart, riding a dirt bike, or being a kid outside. These kids today, they think if they can't go without a phone or a laptop, they're just dying. My nieces and nephews, if they ain't got a phone in their hand, well, my nieces, I only got one nephew, and he's old enough. He has his own YouTube channel. But yeah, he's actually outdoors, so he's good. But my nieces, if they ain't got a phone in their hand, they're just dying. They're dead. They can't handle it no more. My my grandkids, they already have tablets. I said, you don't need to put the tablets down. You need to go outside and play. And that goes down. It's major. Yes, it is. And me and my wife, we go to a lot of places where there ain't no internet. Yeah, that my grandson wanted to go out on the road with us a little bit. I said there won't be no internet, and no, he didn't like that idea. He couldn't handle that. He has to have his tablet with his games on it. But he during the majority of the day he'll stay outside and play because his mommy's really good. She won't she only limits. He has they have the Wii and the Nintendo and the Xboxes, but she limits them to 1 hour a day playing games. Now, when she's driving somewhere in her car or something like that, she lets them play on their tablets while they're in the car to keep them preoccupied so they're not just all upset and everything. Oh, wow, I've been rambling on here for 20 minutes. It's kind of cool. So, Donna, you still live around this area, or I thought before you said you were living near Charleston. I used to have to go there and pick up I worked down in Sellers. I used to work in Sellersburg at a flooring company, and I would have to drive to Charlestown to pick a guy up for the flooring company. Then we try to go up there every year to look at the lights. This year was kind of harder. Yeah, okay. I thought that's what you said. You lived in Charleston. Yeah, we go up there and look at the lights. This year we couldn't get around to it. I had my surgery, so I only had one leg, so walking outside wasn't going to happen. But we really like going to Cincinnati. My family, my dad's family, is all from the Cincinnati area, is what I call it. We're actually from the Kentucky side, Dayton, Covington, Newport, Bellevue. I was actually born in Bellevue. Yep, I worked at Austin Tri-Hawk for 4 years as a quality control supervisor. But I was actually born in Bellevue, Kentucky, which is on the outskirts of Cincinnati. So I say I'm from the Cincinnati area. And so when we went to work for Amazon, we actually worked in Hebrew, Kentucky, which, if you didn't know, Hebrew, Kentucky is Cincinnati Airport. That's all it is. With 9 different Amazons, UPS, and Groupon stores. I didn't know Groupon does something almost the same as Amazon. I didn't know that. My sister worked there, and she said, well, I pull just the same as what Amazon does. I said, I didn't know that. That was kind of cool. But yeah, we like going up there. In Cincinnati, they have this place called Coney Island. It's an amusement park there in Cincinnati. And they have the Nights of Lights at Coney Island. You can look it up on YouTube. It's 2.5 miles long. It's a driving course through the amusement park because it's closed down for the season. But it's 2.5 miles long, and you can't go more than 2 or 3 miles an hour. And they got the music blaring. They got lights everywhere. No matter where you look at, you see lights. We love going up there. We were going to go to Noah's Ark until they said, well, you got to pay for it. I said, I'm not paying for it. Parking's free, but you got to pay for the shuttle up to the Ark. And I didn't want to do that. I'm not with my feet. I was never much of a walker. Now that I got my legs fixed, I got some poundage on. I'm going to have to go start doing some walking and some exercising. And I said that would help out more than anything. Working a smoke shop, I'm not very physically active here. And I'm bigger now than I ever have been. But like I said before, I worked in a sawmill. And it was, Lark is amazing. And so is the Creation Museum. Yeah, I was wanting to go that, but we're always broke. um, we uh, we go find the things we can do for free. But when I worked in the sawmill, and after my heart attack, I realized I needed to go out and see something. I did. Only thing I ever saw was this stupid town or the where my family lived at, and I wanted to go see what America looked like. So I always had 3 days off at the sawmill, and I made decent money for what I was doing. So me and my wife, we would plan 3 day trips, and we would find out how far we can go in 3 days and come back. And we would use all our money for gas. We would take our food with us, and we would sleep in the car. That's how we started off, in a tiny world, because we got used to sleeping in cars at truck stops and rest areas. And that's when we found about or started. My wife actually found Bob on YouTube and showed me. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. That's how we got on the road, because we were watching Bob Keep RV Living, and I thought that was kind of cool. Then they started talking about work camping, and at the time I was still healthy enough. I could work. And I'm like, and they kept on talking about these sugar beets, and I had never been up north. I said, well, and we had already bought an RV. I'm like, well, I'll try it. But when I was thinking about going, we had 100-year flood here in Salem, and that 100-year flood actually flooded my RV. The water went up, and it didn't go into the carburetor of the motor, but the front half of it, where you sit at, not in the back half, there was water up and around the seats and stuff like that. So, and I had applied for the job, but my RV went underwater. It was kind of weird. And so I went and, I'd already applied for the job, and they called us back and said, you know, we're expecting you up here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Okay. Well, I had to scramble around and put my RV together, and I had never been nowhere in an RV. I was like a duck out of water on that one. Because, I had drove, and we had took the RV camping one time, and Donna probably knows where this is Spring Mill State Park. I drove from Salem to Spring Mill, and that's as far as I'd ever drove that camper. And I was having a little bit of issues when I drove it there, and that was before the flood, because the brakes was kind of acting goofy. So, I put all that back together. I've worked on the brakes a little bit. Before we went up there, I had to rip all the carpet out of this RV, out of the front of it. Then I had to change all the fluids and stuff where it got water in them. And so we headed off up to Grand Forks, North Dakota to work sugar beets. I didn't even tell my boss that I was quitting. We left out on a Sunday early morning. Yeah, it was it was Monday early morning, and I was supposed to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. My shift was 4:30 to 4:30. So I was supposed to be at work at 4:30, and by the time my boss got around to calling me, I was dang near in Chicago. Well, I went around Chicago. I was on the outskirts of Chicago when my boss called me and said, "Am I coming to work?" And the relationship I had with my boss, I was a supervisor making $10 an hour, and he would crap on you like a pigeon standing on a statue. He didn't care as long as he got his money. He didn't care how he got it. He didn't care who he ran over or who he had to run into the dirt to get it. So at that point, I didn't really care if I didn't tell him I was quitting. When he called my wife, Teresa, she answered the phone, and it was him. And he goes, "You coming into work?" I said, "No, I'm almost in Chicago. I quit." He goes, "What do you mean you quit?" I said, "I found another job. I quit." And that's the last time I talked to that man. It was kind of a weird setup on that one. But we got up there, and we got where'd we get to? Right on the outskirts of the Twin Cities, St. Paul, whatever that they call it, Twin Cities, but I know it's called St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And I started smelling something really bad, and so I pulled over, and one of my hubs was just smoking like crazy. I'm like, uh-oh, and I had a flat tire. So I changed my tire out, but it wasn't blowed out. It just went flat. And I got on the phone with my father-in-law. He goes, well, because I told him there was something coming out of the rear end. He goes, well, you probably got your axle too hot. He goes, pull your plug, see if you got enough fluid in it. I pulled my plug, and I forgot to change that gear oil from where it was in the flood. I pulled the plug, and nothing but water came gushing out of my rear end. I'm like, oh. So I'm in the middle of a truck stop parking lot, draining gear oil out of my RV, out of my rear end, and I filled it back up with good oil. I mean, it still had water in it, but it was still good oil. And then we drove on up. We made it to Grand Forks. We made it to Grand Forks to the office where we had to sign up at. And everything went all right. And they said, well, you're going to be starting tomorrow, so you need to go on up to the Red River Valley. We were actually in Stevens, Minnesota. Our office was in Grand Forks, North Dakota, but we were in Stevens, Minnesota, which was about 50 or 60 more miles north from where we were at to begin with. And okay, I said, okay, I put it in my GPS, and we were heading up to there, and I blew another tire out. And I already had my spare on, but it was another inside tire. And if you drive on just your outers, it'll heat your axle up real bad. So I'm like, okay, I'd only went 20 miles when I blew that first that other inner tire out. I'm like, well, I could drive slow on my outer tires. I couldn't even tell I was on a highway. It looked like a mud road from where they were doing all the beet harvesting. So I was driving down through there, and I made it about 10 miles from the town I was at. I blew the other inside tire. So now I got 3 flat tires altogether because my spare was flat too. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I was going 10 miles an hour down this highway. It's the same as a Highway 60 or 56 here in Salem, 55 mile an hour speed limit and people buzzing down it. But yeah, we made it to the town, and I didn't want the RV to sit just on them outer tires. So I jacked it up. And on the way up there it already had one flat. My alternator went out, so I had to go get another alternator. I flung 2 belts. So our extra petty cash that we took up there with us, and I was pulling an S10. So our extra petty cash I took with us, bought parts. And it was a little bit more in gas than what I was expecting. It cost us about $400 to get up there in gas. And I was only expecting 2. But pulling my truck behind me, I wasn't counting that in the configuration. So when we got up there, I had $15 to my name, an RV with 2 flats, 3 flats, counting the spare. But luckily, my truck I was pulling with me, it had a full tank of gas, and I had to work for 2 weeks with no paycheck. Well, we had stopped and we got loaded up on as many groceries as we could. In Grand Forks, there's only one Walmart for like 100 miles in every direction. So they didn't have no meat. Meat didn't exist. I looked at meat counter, and it was almost like, when they said there's a shortage on food, there was no meat. We went and bought a canned meat, and we lived on canned meat for a couple of weeks, which wasn't bad, It's self-sustainable. We had a refrigerator, but we had canned meat and fresh vegetables. They had plenty of fresh vegetables, no meat. So for 2 weeks, I had gas in my truck, and luckily from the piler I was working at, I was only 1 mile away. So I was able to drive back and forth with the gas I had in my truck. Then the day we were done piling, we got our paychecks. I was working for the pilers, but my wife was a camp host. She actually had to clean the bathrooms and stuff like that. On our way, she was supposed to work the piler with me, but on the way up there, the campground we were staying at, the camp host quit. She was trying to boss these roughnecks around, and they were roughnecks, and they scared her bad enough she quit. Well, they called us on the way up there and asked if Teresa could just be the camp host, and Teresa said, well, what do I got to do? They said, all you got to do is clean the bathrooms once a day and make sure there ain't throwing no big parties. And Teresa said, yeah, I can do that all day long. And they paid her $500 a week to do it. So that was her job. Well, when we got paid, our RV is a 1984 Brom RV. It's a GMC Brom. They had the stupid half-size tires, 16.5-inch tires. So I had to drive everywhere, all over North Dakota, Minnesota. There was a little tire shop in the town we were at, and I said, I had needed some tires, and I had already checked up there once before. He said, well, I can order them in. They'll be in a week. But I ordered them a week early. So I ordered them before I got my paycheck. I said, well, as soon as I get my paycheck, I come up here and buy them. He said, okay. He goes, but I can only get 2 of them. I said, that's fine. I need 2 for the outers, or 2 for the inners. So I went and bought, when I got paid, I went and got them. Then we went down the road. There was another little town about 20 miles down the road. And when I say a little town, I mean a little town. And they had a tire shop there, and I stopped and asked him about it. He goes, yeah, I got one here on the shelf. I said, you got this size tire on your shelf? He goes, yeah. He goes, been here for a little while. He goes, the date code's kind of old. And I looked at it. It didn't have no cracks or nothing like that. I said, okay, how much you want for it? And he quoted me the same price as the other brand new ones. But being on the road, you're susceptible to whatever prices they want to tell you. So I bought that one, and I was in my truck, so I had to spare rim off my RV. So I put that other tire on my spare rim. And when we got the job all finished, it was sugar beets us all through the whole month. So, but I only worked for 2.5 weeks. But Teresa had to stay there till everybody was done, where she was camp host. She had to stay there till everybody left the campground. So we were there for a week and a half. Week and a half more. So, we got to venture around a little bit because we had a little bit of money left from where we got paid. Well, we finished that job up. We started heading home. And at the time, my mother was really, really sick. She had a stroke. So, and she had a clogged artery in her neck. So my brother kept on calling me and saying, when am I coming home? Mom wasn't doing good. So we had a trip planned to go, because we were so close. We were going to go down to Mount Rushmore. But when that happened, I hightailed it back to Salem really, really fast because, it's my mother. I love my mom. And that's a good thing I did, because 2 days later, she did pass away. But, I took a 3-day drive, it's almost a 4-day drive. In an RV, it's a 4-day drive if you don't push it. And I did that 2 days. I drove, 15 hours one day, and then we stopped and slept because I flung a belt off in the middle of the night on my alternator. My alternator flings belts really good. Then I flung the belt off. Then I went and we had to stay the night in the parking lot at a car part store. So that morning when it opened up, I got my part, and we drove the rest of the way home. Then it was about a month later, we went and started working for Amazon. But we did what they called the Kindle department, which was just returns. All we did was refurbish tablets, the tablets and the Echoes. I call them hockey pucks. That's what they looked like. And stuff like that. But standing up for 12 hours on end on my feet is what destroyed me. That was the first year. The second year, we saved up all our money from Amazon, so we didn't have to work until the following year when Amazon came back around again. So we went back up there, and this time they changed recruiters. And the guy, I basically called him a military recruiter. He'll tell you anything you wanted to hear, just get you in the door. And we were supposed to come back and do the exact same thing we did the year before. And he said it was no problem. Well, they sent us up there and they made us pick in another Amazon building. I said, I didn't sign up to pick. I don't want to walk 15 hours. You gotta go finish dinner and get those kids, huh? Get those kids fed. Well, Donna, thank you very much for being on here. This was just a pop-up. I'm probably only going to be on here for about 5 more minutes. I'm already losing my voice. I talked a lot. I haven't talked this much in a while. But thank you for being on here. I'm going to try to get that video out of, just the surgery procedure. Because tomorrow when I go to the hospital, I'm going to film what I can. I'm going to try to talk my wife into filming what she can, which she doesn't like filming too much. She's almost camera shy. But I'm going to get her to do what she can, or film what she can, if she will. She's just as nervous as I am, and she does not like hospitals. But I just thought I'd do this pop-up. It's been fun. If y'all are say a prayer for me, of course. I should be fine. It's just on my leg. It's too far from my heart to kill me. That's my old saying. Too hard for my heart to kill me. It still don't mean it don't hurt. But thank you all for being on here. Thank you for watching. As always, hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends. We try to put on some educational stuff when I can. But thank you very much. You all have a good evening.